The following is a presentation of Puska Media Services in cooperation with the Northern Ontario-Walleye-Trail. It's time to talk walleye tournament championship fishing. This is Catching Gold, the official podcast of the NOWT. In the next 30 minutes, hear all of the latest information on the trail, plus highlights of all of the stops across Northern Ontario. We will interview the anglers, corporate partners, volunteers, and bring you inside access like never before. Watch Catching Gold on the YouTube channels of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail at the official NOWT, the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, and PuskaMediaServices.com. Now let's hear from the guys, host Dennis J. Puska, and trail executive members and anglers Shane Turcotte and Dean Bliss.
And we want to say a very special thank you to Shane Turcotte for taking time to shoot the pre-roll of our show today, entrance into Dubreuilville and getting out to the lake, and of course some video on the water on day one of that event. Hi everyone, I'm Dennis J. Puska, and welcome. This is Catching Gold, Episode 5, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail. And before we start, I want to say a very special thank you to everyone who is taking a moment to watch our show. Our numbers are excellent to start, and thank you for doing so. Whether you're on the official YouTube page of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail at the official NOWT, you get video from events there, all sorts of neat things going on, plus our show. Or you're at the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, where not only you can find this show, Catching Gold, you can also find our other shows that Puska Media Services has in terms of podcasts. The Sports Hub's on there, all jacked up, the official podcast of the Hearst Lumberjacks of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. Plus, we've also got Between the Bay and the Bench with your MPP Guy Bourgoin. And also Be Northern Proud, Be Northern Aware, that fraud prevention podcast series. So everything is on there for you to listen to. Now, back to the show. We've got a busy one today. We invite you to stay tuned. We're going to talk all about the Dubreuilville Magpie Walleye event, the second stop on the NOWT Tour. This follows a very successful NOWT Championship in Timmins over at the Cache Campground. That turned out to be amazing. And of course, the Timmins Expedition event, very well done by organizers. We were down there for that and just had such a wonderful time. My wife and I were there, and congratulations, organizers. You did such a terrific job there. So Dubreuilville, again, does an incredible job putting on the show. Now, we understand there's, 91 boats in the event. That's amazing. They had the No Live event, and of course, the Pro Division, and they were each had lots of competitors in it. That was amazing to see. I was following the results throughout the weekend, and it was very interesting to watch to see how things were going. So we're going to go through the results in a little bit and give you who won those and where we're at. So that's important. Our interview spotlight today, Shane Turcotte will join me alongside. He was at the event fishing with his daughter, Tyler Turcotte, and they did very well. We'll hear from Shane about that and our guests. The winners of Dubreuilville, of course, Francis and Jesse de Champlain. They are from the community. They live on the water. They love the whole area, and they are pretty amazing people, and we caught up with them in a terrific interview you won't want to miss coming up. So lots to get to on our show here today, and we're certainly glad that you are with us. Well, friends, we're going to pause for a break on our program, and you're going to hear a promotional video all about, or see a promotional video, all about Puska Media Services and the Northern Corridor Podcast Network. Plus, we're going to tell you a little bit about some of the upcoming tour stops for the NOWT this summer. All of that, and I'll come back and we'll go through the results of who won the divisions at the Dubreuilville Magpie event. This is episode 5 of Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye-Trail, brought to you by Puska Media Services on the Northern Corridor Podcast Network. Back with more in a moment.
This is the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, the home of the Sports Hub. Between the Bay and the Bench, with your MPP Guy Bourgoin. All jacked up, the official podcast of the Hearst Lumberjacks of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. Be Northern Proud, Be Northern Aware, a fraud prevention podcast series, and Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye-Trail. Tune in at puskamediaservices.com, on social media, with Facebook, X, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Listen to one of our episodes today.
Welcome back to our show. Well, so now let's get to the results of the Dubreuilville Magpie Walleye Derby, which is a big stop on the tour. A lot of people love going down to the event. It's not too far away. They get treated so well. The organizers do such a fabulous job, and they had a full field. It looked terrific. So let's talk about the results, shall we? First of all, we're going to go to the no live division and the way these overall standings finished up. You had Sean Bristol and Mark McLean. They finished first overall in the no live division, followed by Joel de Champlain and Maxime de Champlain. They were second, and Shane Bukowski and Suzanne Lacasse were third. Jason Tremblay, Bridget Tremblay were fourth, and Don Bugner and Justin Bugner were fifth. So those are the results of how the no live division worked on there. And now we are going to check out the pro division, and this is where things got interesting. After the first day, the leaders were Miguel and Samuel Tyre. They actually led the division after the first day, did an absolutely incredible job. They had 14.25 pounds. That's terrific. Some great numbers there. They led, and then from second all the way down to about ninth or 10th, they were separated by just a few ounces here and there. But then day two, that's when things started to roll. And Jesse and Francis de Champlain had a great second day, 14.55. Their grand total to win the whole thing was 27.89. They finished first. David Grad, Matthew Dansero, they were second at 27.37. Darius Shabagabao and Greg Shabagabao were third at 26.66, followed by Michael Foucault and Jean-Marc Otis at 26.42. Dawson Bernath and Raphael Ramsey were fifth, followed by Jerry Francoeur, Nick Huxon, Alan Mercier, and Jean Mercier in seventh. And Miguel Tayer and Sam Tayer finish in eighth place. And how did our friend Shane Turcotte make out? Well, they were finished down in about 17th place. Him and his daughter did very well. They had two great results, so they were involved in the event. We'll hear more from them in a moment about what's happening there, but you get a chance to see the results and how they were after the first day and after the second day. And again, very interesting, very close. When you look at the overall standings for the final, you had just what? A little over 50 ounces separating the de Champlains from Dansereau and Grad. And then Dansereau and Grad weren't that far ahead of Darius Shabagabao and Greg Shabagabao. So some interesting numbers when all is said and done for the Pro Division for the Dubreuilville Magpie Walleye Derby. We're going to get to our interview in a moment with Shane Turcotte, who will join me alongside, along with the de Champlains. And they're going to talk about how the fishing was. They call it the Big Fish Factory. Dubreuilville's been known for that. You're going to haul out some big fish. And it seemed like everyone was finding that big fish, not having a problem at all. And such a neat event. And I was watching, again, a lot of the pictures and some of the video on the weekend. It was so great to watch and see the big fish get pulled out of there. And pretty incredible stuff, that is for sure. So there are the results of the Dubreuilville Magpie Walleye Derby, where the de Champlains were victorious and getting that championship. And we're looking forward to catching up with them next. Shane Turcotte will join us alongside. Plus, we will have some other thoughts as well as we move forward here on our show. So let's pause for another break. When we come back, Shane Turcotte, Francis, and Jesse de Champlain all on our show to talk about the victory by the de Champlains and the event over the weekend. We're glad you're with us. This is episode 5 of Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail on the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, brought to you by Puska Media Services and the NOWT.
This is the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, the home of the Sports Hub. Between the Bay and the Bench, with your MPP Guy Bourgoin. All jacked up, the official podcast of the Hearst Lumberjacks of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. Be Northern Proud, Be Northern Aware, a fraud prevention podcast series, and Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail. Tune in at PuskaMediaServices.com, on social media with Facebook, X, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Listen to one of our episodes today.
Welcome to our interview segment of Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail. Dennis J. Puska back with you here on episode 5. And we're following up with coverage of the Dubreuilville Magpie Walleye Derby. That was another big hit. And my broadcast partner, Shane Turcotte, would call it the Big Fish Factory. And I believe it did not disappoint. And we are very pleased to be joined by the winners today. And we've had them on our show in the past, Jesse and Francis de Champlain. Guys, welcome, and Shane, welcome to our show.
Thanks a lot, guys. We're glad to be
here.
here.
No, absolutely welcome, guys. And just to put an emphasis on Big Fish Factory, let me tell you, this year was absolutely incredible as far as the amount of big fish caught, the weights. Like I said, we're looking at 1 over 3 unders each day, and then, like I said, when you look at the weights of the final standings, it's pretty impressive. And again, for Jesse and Francis to win with the weight that they won with, again, equally impressive. And I can't say enough about this system, guys. Any comments on your system? Because this is your home waters, and you've got a pretty incredible fishery there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy there. Like if you looked at the, I think the top 30 there, they were within 2.5 pounds on day one. So it was our game plan for the week was actually to try to find under spots, because we know there's so many big fish all over that we would stumble upon one each day, at least one nice one. So we spend most of our pre-fish just looking for areas where the nicer unders were in. So.
Yeah, and I think you guys, I would say you probably know every nook and cranny of this system. So did you find any new spots this year that kind of surprised you?
We did. Yeah, we did a few new spots. Like we've caught walleyes this year where we've never caught some before, and a couple of other teams too. They had that same program there, which is quite interesting to find some walleyes in these spots there in weird bays and places where it doesn't really make sense for them to be there, but they were there. So the water temperature was a bit higher in those bays, so I think that's what brought the bait in and made those bigger fish in there. That's what was my thought on it. But yeah, it was cool to. We were fishing. We didn't have much people around us, so.
No, and before we really get really deep into this this little interview session that we have, I kind of want to set the stage here because, again, I believe this is your second win on these waters, and but you have multiple wins across the NOWT, which is unbelievable. But again, let's start with, okay, how did your day one go?
Day one started pretty good there. I think in the first half hour we had like over 10 overs caught, and my dad hooked to around a 29 incher. Was skinny, was around 7 pounds, but in that first half hour we had thrown back some 27s, 28s, all skinny, so like 5 to 6 pounders, and then we had that 7 pounders, and then we decided around 9 o'clock, I'd say, to go for our unders right away, just to get that out of the way, and it didn't take us long either.
Yeah, we found some nice unders. I think the smallest one was 171 or 176, I think. So.
And then we had the rest of the day to try to upgrade that over. 7 pound is a nice fish, but with the one over on the magpie there, it wasn't quite enough. So we ended up going through so many overs. I think we were above 30 overs for the day, and like I'd say over 20 that were between 5 and 7, and our big one was what that day, 775, I think. Our big one was, which is not. It wasn't. I don't even think it was in the top 15 of the biggest fish that was caught all that day there. But we had so many. We had
559
of unders, so that made the weight back. So
now, is this normal for you guys? Like on this system, would you say that's normal to go and catch 30 overs in one day, or was this a little bit different this year?
Well, pre-fish we weren't catching that many, but we weren't casting at everything either.
Saturday was exceptional.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Everybody caught lots of big fish.
Yeah.
Lots of overs on Saturday, and everything was biting. It was crazy. Sunday wasn't as good, but
we didn't have the Sunday. We didn't. We had our big one. Our first fish was that nine something. So we didn't really spend time trying to catch other big ones there, but
But even the unders weren't jumping on the line as much as that's on Saturday. It was a little
Shane,
colder, and
Old Front came in and we changed
the
spot.
wind changed too. So, but we had to work a little bit harder to get our unders. We caught our last under. We upgraded our last under in the last hour.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're just to clarify, that was Sunday, right? Because we're running a Saturday Sunday
Yeah,
event. Is
Sunday,
that?
yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. And I mean, you guys are a father and son duo, and we've talked about this before. I mean, I find it pretty incredible that a father and son get to fish together like you guys, and you're highly successful as well. And I know that Jesse's at the front of the boat, and Francis is kind of in the back of the boat. But Francis, you catch a lot of fish back there. Like you do a lot back there that I think if we look at a lot of teams, a lot of the fish are coming from the front of the boat, but you contribute a lot at the back of the boat. Like, is there something? Again, obviously you guys are not going to spill the beans and talk about too many secrets, but what makes you so successful at the back of the boat when we're talking about a live scope type fishing?
Well, I one of the things forward facing sonar for us has been, we spend lots and lots of time, like even on the water in front of my house. I spend every day I'm on there and trying to figure out like exactly and now it just looks like we know what we're seeing lots, and like we see a pike and we know right away. Let's not waste time. It's a pike. And we don't spend time on pikes because we see them right away. We can see them swim, and just spending the time. Like a lot of people have life scope, but they don't spend the time. But if you want to get good at it, you really, really got to spend the time. And
I try to place the boat a lot too. Like once we see a fish, I try to place the boat so we can both have a good cast. So if I miss my cast, he's right there and he can cast at it, not go in front of me and all that. So it's a bit challenging sometimes, but I try to get the boat so both of us can fish the same fish. Let's say if one of us doesn't make a nice cast.
But if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't work out, I'll usually tell him, go for it, and I'm going to search for something else.
Yeah.
And sometimes I find another fish.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm the one that finds the fish in the front. I'll tell him 2 o'clock, 80 feet. And then so he turns to 2 o'clock and he goes to 80 feet. He goes for that fish, and then I scout for something else. And sometimes I'll find another fish that just popped out, or sometimes they pop out behind under the boat because you just roll over them. So, and then I'll try for my own fish. So,
yeah.
No, and that's a really good, like I said, that's a really good kind of a breakdown of how to do this as a team in a boat, where I like what Jesse was saying, try to position the boat sometimes to maybe have a couple shots at the same fish. And, that's a pretty good tip just in that itself. I think a lot of anglers at the front are turning their boats and positioning to cast from the front more than from the back. So, I mean, that's actually a pretty good tip that maybe some people can, try that maybe on the next time that they're out.
Yeah, usually Jesse's the first one to cast on it, but then sometimes he'll see it didn't bite, grab a minnow. So then I'm at the back, the minnows are in the live well, so I'm at the back, so it's right there. So then I'll try a minnow, so it's easier, so we can try two different approach for that fish. So
now, you guys have proven yourselves to be pretty accomplished anglers on this circuit. How many top tens now are we talking about? Not just wins, but how many top tens in a row?
23.
Yeah, 23 in a row. And I think it's
23. I mean, that
11 top fours in a row now.
Yeah.
So
so right there, that tells me everything I need to know. That's pretty impressive. It's not not luck. There's a lot of skill there. And Jesse, I don't know if you guys can share anything, but if there was one thing you wanted to communicate out there to people, what is one small tip maybe that you'll give them as far as how you guys are tackling water and forward-facing sonar and what works best?
Well, one big thing I'd say was we use a lot of the online mapping, like Garmin Avionics, to go look at stuff we would like to go. So you try to make a game plan and just not go on the lake and now try to figure out some stuff, right? And you try to not fish too many memories either, because it changes a lot. But you try to, once you go on a body of water, you try to figure out, and then if you find some fish on like say a sand flat, well, you try to mimic that throughout the system and see if like to get these spots right. So that's
Wind has a lot of factor too.
wind. Yeah.
Like this week, wind was lots. Like one day we pre-fish, we found a couple of spots that under stumps and stuff, but the wind was really pushing there, and it was loaded with walleye, and even big ones too. We found a spot we took out like a 4-pounder, a 3-pounder, and a couple of 18s, all in a little area,
Yeah.
which the wind was blowing at, and they
Right.
were like 3-4 feet from shore. They were right there, so. It's just
But-
you gotta explore lots.
Yeah.
Like some people are stuck in their pattern, and they'll stick at the same spot they've been before. But we've gone some places that we've never gone. This like on Magpie River, we've seen some places this week that we decide to go, and even on Saturday we decide to go on some places we never went before, and we even caught our big fish on Saturday, a place we've never gone before.
Huh. Well, again, I talked about day one. Day one, you're 7th place, and I know I was beside you guys in the weigh-ins, and we were talking, and you had a fish in your live well that
Oh yeah.
you really wanted to weigh, but it was close to the mark. So you ended up pitching that fish because you didn't want to take the risk of another
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So you probably lost what, maybe a quarter to a third
Yeah,
of a pound.
quarter.
maybe?
Quarter of
We would have been second place after the first day if we would have kept that fish.
But
So,
it's
and I guess that probably frustrated you a little bit because you're
Yeah.
thinking, okay, how do we win the next day, right?
Yeah.
Because there's some really good anglers in the field, really
Oh, yeah.
good, really good sticks in the field. But you know what? You guys came through on day 2. I mean, you put a fantastic bag of fish together on day 2, and you guys brought it home. And man, that was impressive. I got to say, like, again, you guys continue to do this every tournament, and I just love talking to you guys. You guys are good, great guys to talk to. You're friendly. Other anglers really respect you guys on the circuit, and I appreciate how much you help people, how much you talk to people, and maybe kind of give us you're starting out on day 2. You're in 7th. What's the game plan? Obviously, you want to get that big fish, but obviously you want to get it big early so you can kind of chase
Yeah.
your unders and put together a big
that's
bag,
that
right?
because it was 8-2, and last year we had the lead on day 1, and first thing in the morning we had 2 big ones, 230 inchers by 9, and we spent all day looking for. We just needed like 2 15.5 inchers, and we couldn't even get those, so we ended up losing to David and Robbie by
Not even half a pound.
and we had 2 14 inchers. So this we same game plan this year, but so I think it was 8:45, and this big fish we caught has a little story behind it. We we get in the net and we see these weight clips on his fins, and we're like, what the hell's going on here? So we go in, and we ended up. The story came out that same morning. It was Jamie Robinson who got this fish about a week before, and he had a hard time releasing it. It was always coming back to surface, and to give that fish a chance, he put 2 weight clips, and he's seen it go to bottom, and he watched it on his live scope for 5 to 10 minutes, and it was moving around, and we ended up catching that fish
A week after.
just across the river from where he caught it. He showed me his spot that he caught it, and it was about just across the river. Yeah,
Maybe 300 feet from where you caught it.
so thanks to Jamie for that. He saved that fish, which ended up being
Our winning fish.
our winning fish. So it's crazy to see. We were really like, what the hell's going on here? Two weight clips on this fish, and you could see it was there for quite a while because his fins were a bit
Infected.
not infected, but they were reddish, and so that fish was super healthy too. So it's pretty cool story there.
What a story. I mean, you heard it here. Like that's not something you hear all the time. So that's a pretty incredible story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, that was at 8:45. You weighted that fish at 9.14, I think. So we spent all day for unders, and then we had around 5. We had some close ones there, 18 on the line, and we didn't want to take the chance. So we ended up having 5:41 for unders, and we want to weigh in a bit earlier. So we went to the maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then one of the guys, he says, "Did you talk to David Grad?" I'm like, "No." I said, "Why now?" what's going on? He says, oh, he just got a 944. I'm like, oh no, I'm like to my dad, should we go back or try to upgrade this under? And we kind of seen where he caught it because we're chasing unders, and he was going to weigh in at like it was pretty late in the day, so we said, well, if he was looking for a big fish till all day, well, his unders might not be as good, and that ended up what happened. So we got him by half a pound, and we're pretty happy.
Well, like I said, congrats to you guys. I mean, what does it feel like to win in your hometown?
Oh, it's the best.
Great.
The best feeling.
Great to have the support, like even at the prize ceremony.
Yeah,
you can see that people are really behind us, and it's really nice.
And Chantal does an amazing job with this derby, and I think that's why we have. I think we're gonna have the derby who has the most teams this year on the circuit. I'm assuming with 91 teams. So
that's amazing. I think that's a great that you've got so many people involved in it. And what's great about you guys when you do this event is that home, what do you want to call it? I in sports, I'll call it the home field advantage, home court advantage, home ice advantage. Yeah. You've got you don't have to leave. You go home when you're at this event. How better is that for you? Because you go to you sleep in your own beds. It's like a home game. You sleep in your own game. You have your own supper. You see your family. You kind of hang out, and then you kind of rest and kind of repeat almost.
Yeah. For sure. And for us, every time we seem to win, we have a lot of bad luck before the derby, and this week, was like that. So
it wasn't different.
It wasn't different. We had to change a foot on my motor, and we had some other issues with the oil issues with my motor, and then.
Batteries, our cranking battery was pretty
breaking rods, and so
oh my god! So we end up trying to boost, we had to boost the boat with a trolling motor battery, and oh my god!
I want to point out too, like Raxfin's a big supporter of the NOWT, and Raxfin was actually Miguel that got you guys that foot and got you guys going again. So that was pretty nice.
We couldn't do it without him, man. He's been. I always bug him. I'm like, he must be tired of us, man. Every derby there's something, and he's always there for us, and he gets us going. So
yeah, he's really, really good for us.
And he was winning first. He was leading the derby after day one. How interesting is that? Hey, can you help us out? He's winning, and all of a sudden, after day one, looking great. He had some great numbers, and all of a sudden,
and he was staying at my dad's house too. So we had a great time all week, and then we didn't feel bad there because little Sam, that it would have been nice for little Sam to win to get her home there, but. He's doing good though. The Sam is he's young, and he's he's quite the stick.
Yeah, already good angler already.
So you guys win Dubreuilville. I think. What did you guys get? Did you guys get third in Timmins?
Third and fourth overall, if I believe, for points there.
Fourth overall, yeah. So you guys won Angler of the Year last year in points. You guys are well on your way this year. What is the next tournament for you guys?
Long Lac will be the next one. Yeah, Long Lac, and then we'll do. We'd love to do the Sioux, and if there's one, and then Metagami will do as well. So
now, let's talk about Long Lac. Your next one. You guys have won that tournament, have you?
Yeah, and close call last year with the championship.
Not even half a pound again.
Half a pound with our unders there, but. Yeah, it's a good fishery as well. It's lots of big fish in that one too. So, but it fishes pretty small. So we'll see how that one goes.
I like your chances though. If I'm a betting man, and there was actually we had an actual where I could go and place a bet, I'd be putting my bet on you guys because I know your track record in Long Lac. It's pretty impressive, and I think you guys got a real shot here at Angler of the Year once again. And again, it just shows how consistent you guys are. I know you guys work really hard at this, and but again, I know how much the fishing community means to you guys as well. And I can say, as somebody that stayed near your house for Dubreuilville, and how opening you guys were and friendly, and I can't say enough. I really appreciate you guys, and
Yeah,
I
well,
always love fishing with you guys and against you guys in the water.
besides the tournament, that's always the best part of this whole tournament deal. There, I love spending time with all the guys, and
We're like a big family.
yeah,
and
little
it's
family.
great.
You get pretty close with some of the guys, and it's pretty cool.
So as we
So
get
before I let Dennis really wrap this, sorry, Dennis, before you wrap this up with these guys, I just want them to share with anybody out there that's thinking about Dubreuilville. Tell them a little something about Dubreuilville and why they should come fish.
Big fish, man. Just if you want to catch a fish of a lifetime and catch many of them, come to Dubreuilville. Hook up a drop shot and leech to your rod, and that's pretty much it there.
Yeah.
If you you want to catch a big one down here, so there's no
It's
secret.
well organized.
Yeah,
too, and-
well organized and
Yeah.
nice little community. So
Well, guys, again, thanks, and I'm going to let Dennis wrap this up. And again, we really appreciate you.
Before we leave, I'd just like to see, it's like we do a lot into this team, but we also have our wives and the family that helps us. Like my wife took days off last week to cook for us and get stuff ready while we were fishing. We got here, we had appetizers, and it's crazy what they do for us, and they let us do this. Like me, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Jesse and if it wasn't my son. I do that because of him and the team that we have. It's like I wouldn't be able to leave and let him fish with anybody else. Like I'm always going to be there for him, and he decides. I say, whatever you want to do, which tournaments you want to do, I'm there, and I'm going to be there. And my wife supports me, and I know sometimes she'd rather go on a little trip together, but you know what? Now we're doing a little bit less. We used to do seven a year, a couple 2 years ago and a year before. But now we're doing a little bit less. Jesse's got his daughter now, and so
another one on the way.
family, and Jesse's they have another one coming up. So we're slowing down a little bit, but we're still there.
Yes, congrats to that.
yeah, that's
Well, congrats to you too on the next little one that's coming.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You've got a very beautiful
Busy.
young daughter there that
yeah.
yes keeps you very busy.
You know that, eh, Shane?
Yes, I do. And yes, family is everything, guys. We can't do this without family.
No.
Without family, it doesn't happen.
No, for sure.
All right, Dennis, take us away.
Well, first of all, Shane, you fished with your daughter on the weekend. How much fun was that for you? You and Tyler getting out there and on the water. You said that's an event you guys look forward to all the time.
Well, here's what I'll say. She managed the live well the entire weekend. I did nothing with the live well. She processed the fish. She tagged them, weighed them. I can't be any more prouder as a dad. I mean, she's an incredible person in the boat, and she's just an incredible person. I mean, I'm lucky. I have a daughter that, again, is just an incredible person, and she really does appreciate and understand the fishing community, and she loves it. She can't wait to see people and hang out with people.
That's amazing. So up next we have the Geraldton tournament. That'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. And then we had the Long Lac. The guys were talking about that. That, of course, is coming up in July. Then we've got Sault Ste. Marie, which is always a great event, and Matagami First Nation coming up in September. Now, we want to pass along just some positive thoughts and some positive vibes to our friends at Matagami First Nation. They're just getting back into their homes after Timmins 9. Continues to be a lot of bad things to that whole region on Highway 144. And we're thanking Matagami First Nation as they get back to their homes and get kind of life somewhat back to normal. And I know the Shane and the angling community look forward to returning to Matagami First Nation in September. Shane, that's going to be a pretty special event, isn't it?
Yeah, no, they were away, and so there seems to be a lot of excitement. And I know fishing there in the fall. There's again, it's a little bit different fishing there, more of a deep suspended type bite. Is where I find the bigger fish in the fall there. So it'll be interesting. Everybody always seems to find something different, and it's always interesting to see who comes in with what. Again, Jesse and Francis are big players there, along with a few other teams, and it's always interesting to see who does what.
Wonderful, guys. That's going to do it for this segment, our interview segment of the program. For Shane and Jesse and Francis, guys, thanks for joining us, and best of luck down the road in the next tournaments.
Thanks for having us, Dennis.
Again, congrats, guys. Thanks for doing this, and I can't wait till the next episode and see you guys on the water soon.
Thanks, Shane. Good luck on the Team 10 championship there in the Sioux, eh?
No, I appreciate that. Thanks, guys.
Okay, all right, see you.
This is the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, the home of the Sports Hub. Between the Bay and the Bench, with your MPP Guy Bourgoin. All jacked up, the official podcast of the Hearst Lumberjacks of the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. Be Northern Proud, Be Northern Aware, a fraud prevention podcast series, and Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye-Trail. Tune in at PuskaMediaServices.com, on social media with Facebook, X, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and wherever you get your podcasts at YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Listen to one of our episodes today.
And welcome back to our show. Just enough time to say thank you, as always, to Shane Turcotte, getting us some great video in Dubreuilville and talking about all the action that went down at the event, and catching up with our anglers too. Does such a great job. Wonderful questions. Thank you, Shane, for all you do for our show and for the NOWT. We greatly appreciate it. And congratulations again to Jesse and Frances de Champlain for all the great things that went on, and all the great results they had in Dubreuilville. I'll tell you, over the next couple of years, I am hoping to get to Dubreuilville for the event. I'd love to see what this event is all about and see why it is such a big success and an important stop on the tour each and every year. Well, 2 more stops coming up with a little bit of a break in between of both. Next weekend, the anglers are headed to Geraldton for the Geraldton Walleye event. That is always a big stop in Geraldton, so that is coming up. That'll be coming up next weekend, and we will have a special show coming up after that with all the results and an interview with the winners. Plus, in about a month's time, you've got the Long Lac Walleye event. That is going to come up in July. And then one of the neat events happening in September is going to be the return of the Matagami Masters event, Matagami River event, hosted by our friends at Matagami First Nation. And we're thinking about them again with everything that has gone on. Timmins 9 now finally listed as under control today by the Ministry of Natural Resources. That is official today. So things are going much better over there. Matagami First Nation folks finally being allowed to return to their homes this week. So that is important to note. And we hope everything is okay. And again, we're thinking about them, especially trying to get themselves back to a sense of reality on the First Nation after that fire was very close to their community, and to Gogama, and also Highway 144. Well, friends, that is going to do it for our show here today. Again, a very special thank you to Jesse and Frances de Champlain, and also thank you to Shane Turcotte for joining us, and Dean Bliss, who also provides wonderful content with us as well. Until next time, which will be after the Geraldton event, I'm Dennis J. Puska. Be good, stay out of trouble. I'll try to do the same. This has been episode 5 of Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye-Trail, on the Northern Corridor Podcast Network, brought to you by Puska Media Services and the NOWT. Good night, Dick. Talk to you next time. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to Catching Gold, the official podcast of the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail. Watch all of the episodes on YouTube and at PuskaMediaServices.com. Catching Gold on the Northern Corridor Podcast Network was written and produced by Dennis J. Puska, with assistance from Shane Turcotte, Dean Bliss, and the NOWT. All rights reserved. This has been a 2026 Puska Media Services NOWT Studio 29 DP production.